So many of us, especially in the later seasons of life, wake each morning carrying the weight of yesterday into today. Concerns about health, the well-being of family, the changes of aging, they sit quietly on the chest before the day even begins. The mind rushes ahead to what might happen or lingers behind in what cannot be undone, and the fresh peace of a new morning is clouded before we even notice it. But Buddhism offers another way. Each dawn is not a continuation of yesterday's burdens, it is a doorway, a chance to begin again with a lighter heart. Stay with me, because tonight I'll share 5 Buddhist lessons that calm the heart, ease the mind, and remind you that peace is possible here and now. These truths are not distant philosophy, but simple practices you can carry into your days and nights, helping you rest more deeply and live with greater serenity. If this eases your heart, share where you're listening from. It helps our quiet community grow. And now, let us take the first step together, returning to the simplest and most powerful truth, presence itself. There is a certain quiet power in pausing at the beginning of the day, before the noise of the world rises, before demands are placed upon us. Buddhism teaches us that this pause is not just a small moment, it is the very heart of practice. The first lesson reminds us, I am here, I am alive. This moment is enough. For many of us, especially as the years go by, mornings bring both gratitude and discomfort. The body may ache in ways it did not before. The mind may wander back to regrets or leap forward to anxieties. Yet, Buddhism speaks of impermanence, anicca, the truth that all things are constantly changing. The aches may be here now, but they will pass. The regrets live only in memory, the anxieties only in imagination. The present breath, the one you are taking at this very instant, is the only reality. Imagine waking up tomorrow. You open your eyes, and perhaps the first thing you notice is the stiffness in your knees, or the sound of a neighbor's television, or the long list of appointments ahead. But before the mind is swept away, pause. Place your feet gently on the floor. Feel the earth receiving you. In that simple gesture, you are reminded, life continues. I am still here. The fact that you woke at all is proof that your purpose is not yet complete. There is a Zen story that beautifully illustrates this truth. A monk is chased by 2 tigers, one before him, one behind. In between, he hangs from a vine, dangling over danger. As he holds on, he notices a ripe strawberry growing nearby. He plucks it, places it in his mouth, and tastes its sweetness. For that moment, all fear dissolves. The strawberry is enough. Presence brings a sweetness even in the midst of fear. This is the gift of mindfulness. It does not deny the aches, the dangers, or the difficulties. Instead, it allows us to taste the strawberry in the middle of it all. When you are present, life becomes vivid. The birds outside your window are no longer background noise, they are a chorus. The breath in your chest is no longer unnoticed, it becomes a gentle reminder that you are alive. Now, for those in their 60s or beyond, presence can feel both more urgent and more precious. The past stretches long behind, full of joys and sorrows. The future is less certain, but here is the liberating truth. Both are shadows. The past cannot be changed, the future has not arrived. All that truly exists is now the warmth of sunlight on your skin, the sound of your own breathing, the steady beat of your heart. When you remind yourself, this moment is enough, you loosen the grip of dissatisfaction. You no longer chase perfection, the perfect morning, the perfect body, the perfect circumstance. You understand that even with imperfection, even with change, Life is worthy of gratitude. If your eyes opened this morning, you have been granted another chance to live, to learn, to love. And so, this practice of presence is a reset. It is a declaration. I do not need to be anywhere else. I do not need to be anyone else. This moment is enough, and so am I. When you live from that truth, the day ahead softens. You become less entangled in what you lack and more attuned to what is here. Presence becomes the anchor in times of difficulty. When memories of loss arise, presence whispers, yes, grief is here, but so is the breath. When anxiety about the future appears, presence says, yes, worry is here, but so is this chair beneath me, this body breathing, this sky above me. In this way, presence does not erase pain, but it holds it gently, without resistance. Like water around a stone, it surrounds suffering with spaciousness, making it lighter to bear. And as you practice this again and again, something shifts. You discover that peace is not in fixing every problem or securing every outcome. Peace is found in the strawberry, in the birdsong, in the breath that keeps you alive, this very moment. So tomorrow morning, before you reach for the phone, before you replay yesterday's mistakes, pause. Place a hand on your heart. Whisper quietly, I am here. I am alive. This moment is enough. Then rise with the awareness that you have already touched the deepest truth Buddhism offers. The present is the only reality, and in it there is enough. Now that we understand the power of presence, we naturally encounter the next challenge: how to hold on to peace when the outside world presses in. This brings us to the second lesson, learning that true peace does not depend on circumstances, but on how we meet them. When you step out of the quiet of the morning and into the noise of the world, it can feel as though your peace is instantly challenged. The phone rings, the news blares, a neighbor speaks harshly, or a family member stirs up old tension. Suddenly, the calm you felt at dawn is shaken. But here is the truth Buddhism teaches: nothing outside you can disturb your peace unless you allow it. This is a radical teaching, because we spend so much of life believing that peace depends on everything around us being smooth and agreeable. Yet the Buddha's words remind us, peace comes from within, do not seek it without. That means true serenity is not at the mercy of traffic jams, noisy televisions, or unkind remarks. It is something you carry, like a flame within a lantern, sheltered from the storm. Consider this in daily life. Imagine sitting in your living room, hoping for a quiet afternoon. Suddenly, the neighbor begins mowing the lawn, the grandchildren burst in with endless questions, and your phone buzzes with a reminder you had forgotten. In that moment, irritation rises. But what is the real cause of your suffering? Is it the sound of the mower, the chatter of children? Or is it the mind saying, this shouldn't be happening right now? Buddhism calls this dukkha, suffering born not from events themselves, but from our attachment to how we want things to be. The noise is only sound. The chatter is only life unfolding. The suffering comes when we resist, when we insist that reality should bend to our desires. Now imagine the same situation approached differently. You hear the mower, and instead of tightening inside, you smile at the reminder that someone else is caring for their home. You hear the grandchildren, and rather than wishing for silence, you see the blessing of their presence, evidence that life continues beyond you. You notice the phone reminder, and instead of frustration, you say, I have another chance to remember. The outside world has not changed, but your response has. And suddenly, peace remains intact. This doesn't mean ignoring problems or becoming passive. It means meeting each situation from a place of calm, not chaos. When a family argument arises, you can choose to pause before reacting. Instead of snapping back, you take a breath and respond with clarity. When a friend disappoints you, you resist the urge to spiral into resentment and instead acknowledge the hurt while also recognizing their humanity. For those over 60, these lessons are especially meaningful. By this age, you have seen enough of life to know that the world rarely moves according to your wishes. Health shifts, relationships evolve, society changes in ways that can feel disorienting. But the one place where stability is possible is within. You may not control the outside, but you can learn to be the guardian of your inner calm. Think of your peace as a garden. The outside world will always send wind, storms, or unexpected visitors. But if you tend the soil daily, watering it with mindfulness, protecting it with awareness, the roots remain strong. Even if branches bend, the tree of peace does not break. Here is a simple reflection practice to help you remember. When life feels noisy, place your hand on your chest and silently repeat, "I choose peace over reaction." Allow the breath to settle your body. Notice how the shoulders drop, the jaw loosens, the chest softens. With each exhale, feel the tension release. This small choice shifts the entire direction of your day. Let me guide you now in a brief exercise. Close your eyes if you can. Inhale slowly and silently say, breathing in, "I choose peace." Exhale gently and silently say, breathing out, "I release control." Again, breathing in, "I choose peace." Breathing out, "I release control." Notice how even 2 or 3 breaths like this begin to soften the body, to quiet the mind. The outside world may still be noisy, but within, a still lake appears. Each time you practice this, you remind yourself that your peace is not something fragile to be stolen by others. It is something resilient, like a flame that can withstand the wind because it is shielded by the lantern of mindfulness. The more you return to this inner sanctuary, the less the storms of life can reach you. And so, as the day continues, you may encounter many small irritations, a curt remark, a long line at the store, a body that does not move as easily as it once did. But each is a chance to practice. Each is an invitation to remember, peace is already within me. No one can steal it unless I hand it over. Having seen that peace is not found in controlling the outer world, we now turn to another challenge, how we speak to ourselves in the quiet moments of life. For many, the harshest voice is not outside, it is inside. This brings us to the next lesson, one that teaches us how to replace judgment with gentleness. There is a voice inside that speaks to us all day long. Sometimes it encourages, sometimes it guides. But for many people, especially as the years pass, that voice becomes harsh. It replays mistakes, criticizes choices, and whispers words of judgment. The third lesson reminds us of a gentler path. I will treat myself with kindness, not judgment. Buddhism teaches metta, or loving kindness. Often, we think of it as something we offer outward to friends, to strangers, even to those we dislike. Yet, the Buddha emphasized that metta must also include ourselves. How can we pour compassion into the world if our own hearts are running dry? Think for a moment of your own inner dialogue. Perhaps you wake in the morning and remember something you wish you had done differently yesterday. A conversation with a loved one where you spoke too quickly. A missed opportunity to say thank you or I love you. The mind replays it like a film, and you begin the day weighed down by regret. Or perhaps you look in the mirror and notice new lines on your face, and the critic inside mutters, "You're not who you once were." For those over 60, these moments can become frequent companions. Regret over parenting decisions, sorrow over marriages that didn't work out as hoped, disappointment in how the body ages. Yet Buddhism reminds us, to be human is to be imperfect. Imperfection is not a flaw, it is the very condition of life. Imagine if, instead of harshness, you offered yourself the same tone you would use with a beloved friend. When your friend makes a mistake, you do not say, "You're worthless." You say, "It's all right. We all stumble. You can try again." When a friend feels insecure, you do not say, "You're failing." You say, "You are enough, just as you are." Why should your own heart deserve anything less? A simple practice can help shift this inner voice. Place your hand gently on your chest. Feel the warmth of your palm, the steady rhythm of your breath beneath it. Whisper quietly, "I will treat myself with kindness, not judgment." Allow those words to sink in, not as a slogan, but as a promise. Picture now a warm light glowing in your chest. With each breath, the light spreads into your shoulders, your arms, your belly, your legs. This light is compassion, a reminder that you are worthy of love even when you falter. Especially when you falter. This is not about excusing mistakes or ignoring growth. It is about creating the right soil for growth. Imagine trying to plant a seed in dry, cracked earth. It struggles to take root. But when you water the soil, the seed grows strong. In the same way, judgment hardens the heart, but kindness softens it, allowing wisdom to take root. Consider a real example. A grandparent may feel regret over how they raised their children, perhaps working too much, perhaps being impatient. Now, with grandchildren, they have a chance to show up differently. If they cling to self-criticism, "I was a terrible parent," they miss the opportunity to grow. But if they say, "I did my best with what I knew then, and now I will offer love more patiently," the past becomes a lesson, not a prison. Kindness also transforms how we meet the challenges of aging. When the body no longer moves as easily, judgment says, "You're weak." Kindness says, "Thank you, body, for carrying me this far. I will care for you gently." When memory falters, judgment says, "You're failing." Kindness says, "I may forget small things, but I can still remember what matters most." Love, gratitude, compassion. Each time you choose kindness over judgment, you are not only easing your own heart, you are also strengthening your ability to offer compassion to others. For when you soften the inner critic, you become less quick to judge those around you. A gentler inner world naturally creates a gentler outer presence. So, the next time self-criticism arises, when the mind says, "I should have done better, I shouldn't feel this way," pause, take a breath. Replace the thought with a kinder one. "I am doing my best. It is okay to be human. I will treat myself with kindness, not judgment." This practice, repeated, gradually rewires the patterns of the mind. In Buddhism, compassion is not a distant goal. It is a daily act, beginning with how you treat yourself when no one is watching. By making kindness your first response, you create a heart spacious enough to hold both your own humanity and the humanity of others. And once you realize that kindness is possible toward yourself, another truth emerges: that you are not lacking, that what you need most has been within you all along. This understanding leads us into the fourth lesson, where we discover the sufficiency of our own being. There is a deep restlessness that troubles many hearts. It whispers, "I am not enough. I do not have enough. I need more to be whole." This whisper can echo even louder as the years advance. You might look at your life and feel the weight of what has been lost: health, relationships, opportunities, or worry about what resources you will need as time goes on. Yet the fourth lesson offers a profound reassurance. Everything I need is already within me. In Buddhism, this truth is linked to the teaching of Buddha nature, the understanding that every being carries an innate capacity for wisdom, compassion, and awakening. Just as the acorn carries the oak tree within it, you, too, carry what you need to meet life with courage and clarity. But often, this truth is hidden by layers of doubt and comparison. We think, if only I had more money, more energy, more approval, then I could be at peace. The mind convinces us we are lacking, yet this sense of lack is like dust covering a lantern. The light inside has not gone out. It simply waits for us to brush away the dust and allow it to shine. Picture this. You wake up in the morning and immediately feel a pang of fear about the future. Will your health hold steady? Will your savings be enough? Will your loved ones remember your value? These worries are natural, but beneath them there is a reservoir of strength. Think back. Have you not already weathered storms you once thought unbearable? Illness, grief, hardship, yet here you are, breathing still. The same resilience that carried you then remains within you now. Take a moment to reflect on your life's qualities. Perhaps patience, learned from years of raising a family or caring for aging parents. Perhaps creativity, expressed in small ways like cooking, storytelling, or finding solutions when resources were scarce. Perhaps compassion, built through witnessing suffering and offering comfort. These are not external possessions. They live within you, forming a storehouse of inner wealth that cannot be taken away. Let us practice together a small exercise. Close your eyes and bring to mind one strength you have shown in your life. Maybe it was the courage to start anew after loss, or the forgiveness you offered someone who hurt you, or the endurance you displayed through illness. Hold that memory gently. Whisper to yourself, "This is already within me." Feel it expand in your chest, like a soft glow spreading outward. That glow is proof that sufficiency is not something you need to chase, it is who you are. In practical life, this perspective changes everything. Imagine you fear becoming a burden to others. Instead of spiraling into shame, you remind yourself, "I still have the gift of presence, of listening, of sharing wisdom." That is enough. Imagine you compare your life to someone else's wealth or success. Instead of sinking into envy, you say, "My wealth is in patience, in love, in endurance." That is enough. By living this way, craving loosens its grip. You no longer measure your worth by possessions, achievements, or the approval of others. You rest in the quiet confidence that sufficiency has always been within. This is why Buddhist teachers encourage gratitude as a daily practice. Gratitude shifts attention from what is missing to what is present. When you give thanks for the warmth of your bed, the taste of water, the song of a bird, you remind yourself, abundance is already here. Each small act of noticing becomes a way of wiping dust from the lantern, revealing more of the light that has always shone inside. And as you grow more aware of this light, you discover that it does not end with you. For what shines within naturally radiates outward. When you stop grasping for more, your heart opens in generosity. You share your calm presence with loved ones, your listening ear with friends, your patience with strangers. Sufficiency turns inward awareness into outward compassion. So the next time you feel a sense of lack, pause. Place a hand on your chest and whisper, "Everything I need is already within me." With time, this truth becomes more than words. It becomes the foundation of how you live, unshaken by external conditions. And from here, a final lesson arises. For once you know that you are enough, that peace and kindness already dwell within, the natural next step is to allow that peace to flow outward, to become not only a receiver of calm but also a giver of it. This is the essence of the fifth lesson: choosing to be a cause of peace in the lives you touch. When the heart is steady and sufficiency is known, a new question arises. How will I walk through the world? Buddhism teaches that the highest path is not only to find peace within, but also to let that peace ripple outward. The fifth lesson is simple yet profound. Let me be the cause of peace today. This intention transforms ordinary living into sacred practice. It means that every breath, every glance, every word has the potential to either sow calm or spread unrest. Imagine beginning your day with this vow. Before speaking to anyone, you quietly whisper, "Today, I will be a cause of peace." Immediately, the quality of your presence shifts. Think of the influence you already carry. When you are anxious, those around you feel unsettled. When you are calm, they relax. Your state of mind is contagious. By choosing to radiate peace, you become like a candle that lights other candles without losing any of its own flame. For older adults, this truth has a special resonance. You may no longer rush through crowded schedules, but your presence, whether in a family gathering, at the doctor's office, or in a quiet conversation with a friend, carries great weight. A soft word to a grandchild can ease their fear. A patient response to a nurse can soften their stress. A smile to a stranger can remind them of shared humanity. This is not about grand gestures. It is about small acts, done with great mindfulness. When you greet the cashier at the market with warmth, you spread peace. When you listen fully to someone's story without interrupting, you spread peace. When you pause instead of reacting sharply, you spread peace. Each act is a pebble dropped into water, sending ripples far beyond what you can see. A simple way to cultivate this intention is through silent blessings. As you move through your day, whenever you encounter another person, whether you know them or not, pause inwardly and think, "May you be safe. May you be happy. May you be at peace." These quiet words need not be spoken aloud. They are like seeds planted in the soil of your own heart, which inevitably bloom into kindness in your actions. Consider the story of an elder walking each morning through a busy neighborhood. Instead of feeling frustration at the noise and hurry, she turns her walk into meditation. Each passerby receives a silent blessing. The man rushing to work, "May you be at ease." The child crying in the stroller, "May you be comforted." The tired shopkeeper, "May you find rest." She never knows how these blessings touch their lives, but she notices something remarkable. Her own heart grows lighter. By wishing peace for others, she strengthens peace within herself. This is interbeing, a teaching at the core of Buddhism. The understanding that we are not separate, but deeply interconnected. When you radiate calm, it influences others, who in turn carry it into their own relationships. Peace expands like concentric circles across water. And yet, radiating peace does not mean ignoring difficulty. Sometimes, being the cause of peace requires courage. It may mean choosing honesty without anger. It may mean walking away from conflict rather than fueling it. It may mean forgiving when resentment feels easier. In each case, you ask, how can I respond in a way that lessens suffering rather than adding to it? At the close of the day, reflect gently. Where did I bring peace? Where did I miss the chance? Do not judge yourself harshly. Even noticing is part of the practice. Each tomorrow offers another opportunity to live this intention more fully. And so, the lessons come together. To be present is enough. To guard your inner calm is possible. To treat yourself with kindness is essential. To recognize your sufficiency is liberating. And to radiate peace is the natural flowering of all the others. These are not abstract ideas, but living practices. Each breath, each step, each encounter is a chance to return to them. Slowly, like the lotus blooming on still water, they open your life to deeper serenity. As we draw the circle closed, let us pause together. Breathe in and whisper within. Peace begins in me. Breathe out and whisper. Peace flows through me. One more breath, feeling the truth of it settle into your heart. And now, let us gather these 5 lessons once more, so their wisdom may travel with you beyond this moment. We have walked through 5 lessons, each one like a stepping stone placed gently across the river of life. Now we pause to look back, to see how these stones connect, and to understand how they can carry us toward a life of serenity, especially in the later chapters of our journey. The first stone was presence. To awaken each morning and remind ourselves, I am here, I am alive. This moment is enough. Presence is the foundation of peace because it anchors us to what is real. The past has already dissolved into memory. The future remains only a shadow. The breath in your chest, the air moving across your skin, this is where life truly exists. And when we learn to rest in the present, we taste the sweetness of being alive, just as the monk tasted the strawberry even while surrounded by danger. The second stone was inner peace. We learned that nothing outside us can disturb our calm unless we allow it. The storms of the world will always blow, but we do not need to hand them the keys to our inner sanctuary. Peace is not the absence of noise or conflict, but the strength to remain steady amid both. Like a lantern protecting its flame, mindfulness shelters the heart from being blown out by every gust of circumstance. The third stone was self-compassion. Too often, the harshest words we hear come not from others, but from within. The practice of kindness toward ourselves is not indulgence, it is essential. When we soften our own inner voice, we create space for growth. We forgive our regrets, we honor our humanity, and in doing so, we strengthen our ability to offer compassion to others. Just as a garden needs soft rain to bloom, our hearts need gentleness to thrive. The fourth stone was sufficiency. The world teaches us to measure ourselves by possessions, appearances, and achievements. Yet Buddhism reminds us, everything we need is already within. Courage, patience, resilience, love. These qualities are not bought or borrowed. They are the light within the lantern, often hidden by dust but never extinguished. By remembering this, we release the restless craving for more, and we discover the wealth that has always been ours. The fifth stone was radiating peace. Once we recognize our own sufficiency, the natural response is to share it. Peace within becomes peace without. Every smile, every kind word, every act of patience sends ripples outward. We do not need to change the whole world. It is enough to bring calm into the small circles of our daily lives. In doing so, we become like a candle that lights many others, spreading light without ever losing its own flame. Together, these 5 lessons form a complete path. They are not mere affirmations to repeat mechanically. They are living practices meant to be touched again and again, like a prayer bead held gently in the hand. Each repetition clears away a little of the dust that clouds the mind. Each return brings us closer to the quiet truth of who we are. Picture, if you will, a lotus blooming. It does not open all at once, nor does it force itself. Petal by petal, slowly, gracefully, it unfolds. This is how transformation happens. Each morning you practice presence, you open one petal. Each time you choose calm over reaction, another petal opens. Each act of kindness, each remembrance of sufficiency, each ripple of peace, another petal, unfolding. And before long, what was once hidden beneath water rises into full bloom. So, as you reflect on these lessons, remember, they are not separate. They weave together into one fabric of wisdom. Presence teaches us to notice. Peace teaches us to endure. Compassion teaches us to soften. Sufficiency teaches us to trust. Radiating peace teaches us to give. Together, they form a way of living that honors both the fragility and the beauty of aging, allowing us to walk with dignity, with grace, and with serenity. And now, with this circle complete, let us hold these lessons in the heart, ready to carry them gently into the days ahead. As we come to the end of this reflection, let us gather the threads of what we have touched together. 5 lessons, each simple, each profound presence, inner peace, self-compassion, sufficiency, and radiating peace. Though they may seem like words, they are much more than that. They are doorways back to yourself, practices that can carry you through the shifting landscapes of aging, family, and change. The heart of it all is this: peace does not wait for a perfect tomorrow, nor does it depend on what others do or say. Peace begins with the breath you hold right now. Every inhale reminds you of life's gift. Every exhale teaches you how to let go. If you can trust this rhythm, you already hold the path to serenity within your body. So, as you prepare to rest, let go of the weight of yesterday and the worries of tomorrow. There is nothing more you need to fix in this moment. Only breathe, only be. As you close your eyes tonight, may your breath guide you home to peace. May it remind you that you are enough, that you are held, and that each moment is a fresh beginning. Which of these lessons touched you most? Share in the comments so we can grow together.